He dropped this like bomb that I'd never thought of before. He was like, when you're sitting here counting the money and you're dreaming of the things you're going to buy when your position hits its target, he's like, that's probably the time to actually hit the sell button.
Yeah, that's like your maximum risk point.
He's
That is
like,
like the most dangerous place to be when you're sitting there fantasizing about the car you're gonna get.
yeah, he's like, it's it's like my Rocket Lab trade. I'm pretty convinced it's gonna close me out at $7. It's 683 right now. But if I was sitting there going, as soon as it hits $7, I'm gonna have all my financial problems solved. I can afford that Corvette. I can, do all that stuff. You gotta forget about $7 and go ahead and take 680 and walk
Yep.
away. I mean, that's just the lesson there. But AMD likely to retrace back down to the roadmap line. I don't care what anybody says. I've been looking for this to happen for a number of months now, and it did go higher than I thought it would, but I still expecting it to. I'm a trend pullback continuation trader, so without the pullback to support, there's nothing I can do. It's just my own rules. I wait for my pattern, and then continuation says we'll probably go up to 400. That's a double from 188 to 400. So you'd be like, well, why don't you just buy now? I don't want to sit through a $20, $30 pullback. And I'm not convinced I'll buy AMD anyway, but the potential is on the chart there. I'm a, there's like 10,000 charts, probably more if you count the 39 million cryptos, 39 million charts. But any given day, I don't even trade most of the time, maybe at all. I just sit here and wait for my setups on stuff that I want to trade. And, it's like NEM was one of my biggest dollar gains in 2025. And it was mostly on my mom's account, but I sat here and waited for the position. She wanted to buy gold right here. She called me. She was going to liquidate her account, buy gold. I told her to chill out. Let me take care of her position right here on this dip into my technical pattern. I bought her some 60 strike calls out to January 2026. 60 strike, we're right there. January 2026, which we haven't even got to that expiration. It's the 16th. But I bought those and they cost me about $1. I only spent like $1,000 in her account buying those. So 10, maybe it's 15. I don't know. Somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000 I spent on buying those calls for her in her account. And I think it was 1,000. Right at 1,000. I think I had 10 of them. I think I bought 10 for me, but then I sold 5 when we got this pullback right here. I was convinced that I was wrong and I didn't want to lose my money. My mom was like, she was convinced she was going to buy this gold regardless, and she was going to lose her money to those people on TV. So I just put her $1,000 in it and forgot about it in her account. But there, I had to sell half of mine because it was probably too big a position for me to put $1,000 on this. Her account's much bigger than mine, but I sold half, kept 5 calls, and then it goes ripping. And when we got to 80, I think it was 85, I was able to sell those, somewhere in the 80, 85. I was able to sell them for like $23 a piece or something like that, 23 to $25 a piece. Made like 30 something $1,000 between my mom's account and my account with the 5 calls I kept and the 10 calls I kept for her. I made like 20, 25 and change for her. I think is what it was. And then another 5K or and change for me. So it ended up being like a $30,000 trade right there. And it's like, well, how do you do more of those trades? It took a lot of patience and discipline. From the time she called me in the late summer to December when I actually bought in, it was a lot of waiting. And then this was just a lot of waiting. So frequent trades are not necessarily where you make the big money. And now this combined 2 different patterns. It combined my roadmap pattern, which is the orange line, the roadmap line, and it combined a Fibonacci pattern that I called a measured bounce right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that still has potential upside to go. That can still play out to 115 up here.
It's interesting. I since I've been on Market Masters, No, at one point I used to use Fibonacci's a lot. I kind of stopped using them. I don't know why, but I've been using them again recently. I've seen my win rate go up quite a bit.
Well,
Just like,
congratulations.
well, thank you. Yeah, like just like scalping and stuff. Price targets. Um, it just amazes me how well they work.
Well,
You
it's
go
one of
back
those
and look, and you're
things.
like, huh, like
Well,
interesting.
it's one of those things like the when you just grab the Fibonacci tool and you turn it on, it's got all these funky settings and all these extra fib lines and stuff. But I've found this is one reason why I bought Carolyn Baroden's book. It's like these are the Fibonacci numbers that tend to matter. And I learned a bunch of it from her and then a bunch of it from empirical data and a bunch of it, some of it gathered from Elliott wave stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of combines a few different things together. If you look at my fib lines that I have on here, it doesn't really match Carolyn's. Like some of it will be the same, but some of it's different. This doesn't really match Elliott wave stuff necessarily. Now, there's a reason why I have this blue zone right here and the pink in the middle of it. On reversals, right here, this measured bounce pattern, the blue zone is the zone where this technically is valid. The pink is the ideal place to bounce. All right, the whole pattern is valid if it bounces off that whole blue zone, the 786 to the 0.5. It's valid, like the continuation. Now it's strongest if, like, it's weaker if we bounce off the 50, and it's weaker if we go deep and bounce off the 786. It's a weaker pattern, but it's most ideal and strongest if we bounce off that 618. Now, does it work every time? No, absolutely not. But when you combine that fib pattern with Elliott wave, there's two different patterns that line up here. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And funny enough, the same reversal pattern shows up for an A, B, and C. Now, the difference between these two, whether it's a 1, 2, 3, or an A, B, C, is where you expect it to go. Now, if it's a ABC, A, B, the C, you would expect it to stop right here
Mm-hmm.
in that zone. And I thought that was kind of where NEM was stopping right there. That's one reason why I sold my mom's out right there. Sold mine out. I didn't hold on to it till January because we kind of stopped in that zone. I was like, oh crap, that's going to bring it back down. The trend was down here, A, B, C, resumption of the trend down. I sold out. Now, here it goes popping, and we're about to hit the wave 3 target, which is up here. That means that this could have more to go. But the key is to look for this initial reversal and then catch that move. I have other examples of this, like ASML right here. This low, that high. See, we stopped at the 50. We didn't quite get to the 618 right there. And then we made the move. I thought it was just going to be a corrective move because it didn't feel like we were done on the downside. And we stopped right in the zone. Erase that other fib. See, we stopped a good long time right here in the zone where that would be a wave C. This would be an A. This would be a B. This would be a C. We stopped there for a couple months. And then all of a sudden, we just jumped up to the wave 3 target. So now this has the potential to pull back and get continuation even higher. So it's no longer an ABC. It's more likely now 1, 2. This will be the 3. Probably get a 4 consolidation in here. Could be from higher. Could be right now. And then we'll get a 5th wave. And those 5th waves are typically the same size as wave 1. So whenever we finish wave 4 over here, this consolidation off this 3, we'll probably embark on one final move higher that's the same size as this move right here. And this is how I predict where things are going all the time. Like, I've spent years learning how to do this. People think it's full of bunk. A lot of people learn elite wave stuff and they're like, oh, there's 5 waves, one, two, three, four, five. That's not the way it works. You can't just slap 5 waves anywhere. You got to find the correct proportions. They got to match.
Right.
They got to match these fib lines, and then they got to line up.
Yep. There's more to it than just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So likely this thing will do some sort of consolidation up here, either from here or up even higher. Wherever we do that final consolidation, it'll get this last move that'll match that size of the wave one and put it, and that'll probably be the final push higher in the cycle. Then we'll go into some sort of correction back to the and find a bottom near a four. And then this will become the 1, 2, and we could go on for another 3, possibly. Or if we start breaking down here, that's an indication that this was the 5 of 5 and we're done here and we're going to do a bigger correction. So, and a lot of people have trouble like that. So, and a lot of people say, oh, well, you need to find the start point and stuff like that. I jump in the middle of all these all the time because really all I'm focused on is catching the reversal here. I don't care what the count is. I want to find that 1 or A, that 2 or B, and then find my entry here and grab that piece between here and here. That's all I really want. I make tons of money doing that. Made, upwards of $30,000 last year grabbing that piece from here to there, from here to there, right there. Rocket Lab. Same exact thing. Here was the high, here was the low. I grabbed it right here, selling puts. I got out right there. That's last summer. That was this pop in this chart right here. Right there, last summer. Zoomer up. Right there in July. That was Rocket Lab. Made like $13,000 on that pop. Then I quit, walked away, grabbed that piece. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, it looked like that was the 3, and that was the 4, and that was the 5. Then we retraced. This 2. Grab the drawing tool. This 2 right here, bottom in the vicinity of that 4. So this is probably a 1, 2, and we're probably going to go up for 3. Now it could just stall out here. This could just be a little extra permutation. So I'm careful here. Just taking a little pot shot because we can do a bigger retrace.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not worried about where the ultimate 0 point is. Where's the original 1? Although on this chart, the origin point is right there. That's the bottom. There was the IPO or the SPAC or whatever. Here was the bottoming point. 95% of all IPOs start out in a bearish consolidation, will make a low lower than the IPO or the SPAC or whatever price, and then you can start on the count. So
That's crazy to think Rocket Lab was, what year was that? 2024?
yeah, right down here.
$3.
Yeah, done at $3, and now it's
What?
80. No. I do this all day, every day. This is what I do. I sit here and look at charts. People are like, "How did you get so good at this?" In 2024, I did 40,000 charts like this. You think about it, there's only like 10,000 things that trade, so I did like everything that trades like 4 times over. You think about it, that's crazy, right? I mean, but really what that is doing Google like 150 times and then doing XYZ just like once. And some charts, none. So, what does Rocket Lab
Well,
look like today? It looks like Rocket Lab's topping out today. Like, and I'd say 95% of charts I just throw out outright because it doesn't match one of my pullback patterns. To me, I'm always looking for this pullback. Yeah, and Jack, Blake can sit here and attest that when Jack and I are sitting here talking at charts, like if I don't see this kind of pullback going, I'll be like, it's probably gonna pull back.
yeah, you don't even look at it. You're just like, nope, that ain't it. And I
If
do
it's
the same thing whenever I'm on like the evening edge. Someone asks me about a ticker, I pull it up and I'm like, nope, moving on. Because it's sometimes easy to tell. You can be like,
You know, it's
not fitting the pattern.
yeah, he loves this AVGO, and I'm like,
I don't know, man, about that AVGO anymore.
this one can get a serious pullback. And
Yeah.
Hood, I warned him, like he was super bullish on it back here, all the way back in October, November, and we've done nothing but grind down lower so far. And he says he hates it when I'm right, but he loves it that I tell him the truth because
Yeah,
I tend to be right more than I'm not. This still has potential to come down and make a lower low than we made back here.
it does. And Hood had a lot of noise on it too. It just got really loud, got added to the S&P.
Another one that has a bigger potential to pull back, Palantir.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people don't like to hear me say this, but this probably has the potential to take a dip right down in here.
Hold on. Where's Michael Burry?
Michael Burry's probably looking for a dip down here, but
Yeah.
I'm just talking about a dip right here, and that would just
Yeah.
match what we did back here
Yeah.
and give us potential to
Absolutely.
go higher again. So it's all about just, sticking to those couple things that work for you. You can say, well, this seems like a bunch of hooey. I get it right a lot. Get it right a lot. So, um, I don't know what to say. I get lucky. And Jack's like, has nothing to do with luck. You've practiced this for years, and I put it to work, and I try to make money out of it. So, but I'm always looking for new stuff too.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you look at ALB yet? Rob's asking if you looked at ALB.
yeah, I talked about that this morning. It's breaking out above the. This is the better chart to look that on. Right here, we have this big consolidation zone that took place back here in 2023, and we're finally getting up out of it.
Oh man.
So this back here, I've been watching this chart for years now. Kind of
Yeah.
expected us to bottom here, but we went on down deeper. Now we're coming back up. Consolidated there for a couple of weeks. Now we're finally breaking out. If we can, I need the back test at the minimum if I'm going to be aggressive right here. Otherwise, I've got the 618 level that we're going to have to get through, which is right where we are. So we've got to get through this 160 area.
And would you say this is like the second step of an Elliott wave?
So this right here is just one big rip off the bottom.
Okay.
And that doesn't provide me with any. That's why I said I really need a pullback and a back test for me to jump in right now.
Right. If it just keeps going, there's nothing you can do. I mean, it's not going to fit your rules.
So I'll point this out right here. You remember that blue zone I was talking about right there as that ideal bounce place,
Mm-hmm.
right? Comes all the way up here, started down here. This is the trend. This is the pullback. That can be continuation off that blue zone right there. So this could be a big A, B, and C could take us lower, even though it seems like, oh, ALB's got their crap together. So right now I need something to show me that this isn't just a pullback and we aren't going to continue lower. Now that, people are like, I know lots of people are like, oh, well, that went from 50 to 150. I mean, that's, how can you say it, it tripled in money? How can you say that's still a downtrend? Just zoom out and look at it. That was the high, lower high, lower high, lower high. We're just breaking, we broke above that one and we're just pushing into this one. And it's touching that zone
Yeah,
that's also a reversal zone right here.
it is. Hitting that right shoulder area, a place where it sold off before, you would want to see that like turn into support or something.
Now, this was an initial sign we broke higher right here. We did break out
Mm-hmm.
of a downtrend of downtrend of highs, excuse me. Now we've retested this high. That was kind of the beginning of the downtrend of highs, but we haven't done any meaningful retrace. It's just been
Right.
one straight rip off the lows. We've seen lots of stuff do that. Does that mean it won't go on up here where I had the target for years ago? Oh,
It's possible.
it's possible, but for me, trend, pullback, continuation. I wait for the pullback. I don't have any personal rules in my system where I just jump on it.
Mm-hmm.
because it broke out.
Right.
Now I may, if we continue to push on higher, I may put on like a debit spread or something like that out here in time and try to catch a piece of it. But I'm not going to go in with any big meaningful, big chunk of calls.
Not going to put the
And
house on it.
yeah, it's not my pattern. I'm not betting the house on it. Would I bet the house on this pattern? No, I
Nope.
expect a pullback.
Yep, I would agree with that. It will pull back. It might be a big move to the upside, but then it'll sucker people in, pull back, and then go higher.
Yeah, it could get all the way up here to the top and then pull back like this.
It could. It could break out and then pull back.
Yeah. So I have trouble on it, just chasing after stuff. Meta right here is one of the classic examples. It did everything I talked about it doing. It pulled back to this 618, and people have been like, why aren't you getting on it? Why don't you add your piece? We're already up here. But look at this. Look at the struggle at the roadmap line. It is sat here for almost 2 months, unable to get through that roadmap line. And instead of me having a position that I'm sitting there just waiting on, I'm waiting on this secondary pullback, little mini bounce. We did this big one from this low back here in Liberation Day to this high back here in August. Did a 618 pullback off of that right here in November. Moved up. Now I'm waiting on this secondary retrace. If we can do that secondary retrace similar to the way Fly did, I'll probably add a position right there. I'm probably going to buy shares of METU, supercharged ticker, and look for the upside 1100 to 1300 on Meta. It's basically a double on Meta, which should be something like 200% higher on METU. Maybe I'll settle for 150%. And I just sit on that for a long time because shares have no decay.
Um, so real quick, we've got two people on YouTube. We're saying hello to them. One of them asked to look at Clover, which I just looked at Clover, CLOV. I don't know if you're going to see anything on that. That's like a penny stock, I think.
Well, here's the thing. I have a request show coming up at 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube on my main channel.
Oh, really?
And if anybody wants to come hang out, request stuff like Clover and have me look at it, 5 p.m. Eastern, set your alarm. I'll be live on YouTube and you can come request anything you want to. But right now that's a downtrend. And I don't typically go after stuff under 20 bucks. My patterns don't necessarily work. The big boys don't play under 20 bucks. And, as Jack says, big funds typically don't touch anything under 20 bucks. And I like to play where the big money and big volume is because that's where the patterns tend to work. So it doesn't mean that the patterns won't work down here. It's just sometimes things don't go the right way. So anyway,
And I'm going to put your YouTube in the chat because we are running out of time here. Um, so for those of you on YouTube, I just put Jeffrey's YouTube channel and he'll be on at 5 p.m. Eastern. And you guys can ask him about all the tickers that you want. So Netflix, Clover.
yeah,
Somebody asked about
the whole
NVIDIA as
Tuesday
well.
evening show is all requests. That's what the show is about on Tuesday evenings. So that's,
Nice. I didn't know you put that on.
yep, Tuesday evenings, 5 p.m. Eastern every week.
That's cool,
So
man.
I've been doing it for 4 years. So it's the longest running show I've got.
There you go. Well, I'm sure people love that. I know I would. What do you think about this? Get another pair of eyes on it, you know?
Yep. And, I don't always tell you what you want to hear. I'm not, if it looks bad, it looks bad. Like this kind of looks bad.
Yeah, I looked at it too. I was like, I don't think so.
It's, people, what's the difference between something like Clove and something like Fly? It's Fly touched here and immediately started reversing. Now, I'm not chasing this very far. In fact, we're getting near the end of what I'm willing to chase on this one because this initial one, two, three, or A, B, C all plays out just a little bit higher. And I'm probably off of it after next week until we do a bigger pullback and prove that we're going to hold this pattern and go higher. So, supercharged tickers, we've got a presentation coming up, Blake.
Almost call me Jack.
Yeah. I'm so used to talking to Jack on my show, man.
I know. Well, when I heard he wasn't going to be on today, I was like, it looks like it's me and Jeffrey again, but
He
he'll be
told us
back.
last week. He told us last week he was going to the doctor today,
Yeah, he
and
did.
if they decide to do surgery, he won't be back this week probably. So we'll
Heck,
see.
yeah, he might be out for a little while if they got to do surgery, which I'll be praying that they don't because that's no fun. So
So anybody that doesn't know, he was trying to skateboard and show his grandkids how to skateboard and took a spill. So
he told the story. He said he saw this grandkid with the skateboard. He said, "Give me that thing." He said, "Let me show you how it's done."
and he showed him how it's done and broke his
Broke
broke his
his
leg.
leg. Poor man. It does suck. I broke my distal radius a couple years ago, and at the same time that I broke it, I also sprained my wrist. So when they casted that thing up, they put me on a like Vicodin, and I mean I was glad to take that because it hurt so bad. I'd never been in so much pain. It's not fun.
Yeah, I haven't broken anything since I was 5, so I don't
That's
don't
good.
I don't plan on breaking anything.
Yeah, you don't want to break anything when you get older because then your growth plates aren't there and stuff, so it can't heal normally.
Yeah. I mean, I probably did crack my one of my shin bone with a demolition hammer years ago. I was pulling carpet up and ripped through the carpet and then hammered my own shin.
Yeah,
And that hurt to walk on that leg for 2 years. I
yeah.
probably cracked it.
You might have. Yeah. If you and sometimes with some stuff, you fracture a rib, nothing you can do. You just gotta let it heal.
Yep.
Sucks, but all right. Do you want me to kick this off? The supercharged tickers.
Yeah. Go ahead and stop the YouTube and kick